This is Kevin Hope here with BallHer Hoops. We're back at you again, covering the North Meck Invitational. Want to shout out Coach Baker and her staff and players, everybody that was a part of it, parents. It was a huge success. I think it's one of the better events that they have in the area. Just amazing. They basically rolled out the red carpet for us, had our own little section over there. Cool kids table, if you want to say so. But everything was just great. High level talent of basketball. Got to see players, teams that I haven't seen before. So it was all great. Of course, I got Coach Gibson and Coach Diggs with me. We'll be here just talking a little bit about this tournament. So we're starting, because I want to go ahead and get this out the way. Top 5 teams. And this is going to be in order. We're doing this in order. Top 5 teams that we have. And I'm going to just say them, and then we'll have a little debate about a little bit of the teams and why we put them there. So at number 5, we have West Cabarrus. At number 4, we have Salisbury. Salisbury is at number 4. West Rowan is at number 3. Number 2 and number 1 is going to be a 1A, 1B. It's going to be with Lake Norman and Myers Park. Anybody want to talk about why we put certain teams, places you want to put? You want to do 5 through 3, Coach Gibson?
Yeah, that's cool, man. 5 through 3, man. West Cabarrus, starting with number 5, man, they showed up. They played. Every game they played was a contested game, no blowouts, no, in the games that they lost, they competed at a high level. They had a lot of young players involved. They just had a good week. Definitely enjoyed seeing Ashley Shaw. Definitely, she had some very, very bright moments all week. The Salisbury group, they had a very impressive 3 days, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. They struggled a bit on that 4th day. I think Myers Park kind of exposed them a little bit and gave them some stuff that they needed to work on, as well as the Lake Norman game. They really had a tough game against Lake Norman, one of the great games of all week. And I think they got a chance to learn a lot and see where they can grow. West Rowan, they just were young. We talked about them. It was great to see them. Neither one of us really had a chance to see them really out of our area a little bit, but we definitely out there now. We've seen them. We like Coach Poole, got a chance to talk to her, me and Kevin and I, and they're just awesome, young, talented group that are going to be better over time.
Coach Diggs, you wanted to say anything about those 3 teams before we get to this nitty gritty?
Yeah, I mean, basically, on the bottom 3 teams, I mean, Coach Gibson, you covered it all, but, Ashley Shaw definitely held West Cabarrus in there for sure. I mean, I didn't know too much about West Rowan until this week, and Coach Gibson, you said they're young, and they did well. They did very well, better than we all, I think, expected of them. So, I mean, they play hard, but, I'm ready to get to the nitty gritty.
All right. So, want to shout out, we had South Meck and Hickory Ridge. They were probably like right there on the cusp of being that 5th, 4th team. But of course, when it's only 5 teams out of 16 or how many ever there was, it is what it is. But so my argument, I had Lake Norman number 1 and Myers Park number 2, and there's no shade to Myers Park. The fact is that I felt like Lake Norman handled Myers Park pretty handily. Shut down Mia Zerus. Mia Zerus was one of the better players this week, but what they did, they took the ball out of her hands, made her give it up, and made other players try to make plays. And just playing a solid game. Kirsten Lewis was great. Addie Sirianni was great on defense against Mia. And then everybody else made shots. Kelsey Ryan hits big threes all the time. You may not like her shot selection, but She hits them when it counts. The Sheehan's twins, Alexis was lights out from the mid range. Samantha did her job defensively and making key shots as well. So I just thought that Lake Norman was just a better team. I hate that they couldn't be a part of the tournament, but overall, I feel like they were really good. Coach Gibson, what's your argument?
Yeah, I actually had Mars Park number one, and it was because historically, Coach Nelson always has this. I got to call and ask that magic trick. She gets teams to perform better every time, and that's what I liked about Mars Park. They were the first game of the day Monday, so I got to see them first game Monday morning. We watched them, and they played a tough game against East Lincoln, and then just brick by brick, day by day, they just got better. The game that you talked about, it was a tough game for them against Lake Norman. But also, I just think coming Thursday, what they showed Thursday, and then that back-to-back game against a very talented West Rowan run up and down team, I was super impressed on the way they came to play. Mia, Jaren, the way she came to play Thursday. I mean, just their whole crew. So that's my argument for them. They got better every game, every day, every rep. They were locked in each day. So that was my argument for them being one of the number one teams. And that final day, they took it home. They took home the bragging rights for at least till November.
For sure.
I mean, you're right. They did take it home. They did get better every day, which is important. However, Lake Norman was not there to defend themselves. I mean, they was crushing it the whole week. Kirsten, oh man, that kid is something special. And it was just crazy how they was handling their own. But, it's unfortunate they couldn't be there. But Myers Park, as you get better, even during the season in regular high school, as you get better, you get rewarded, and they was rewarded for this tournament. So good for them. Good for them.
Definitely hats off to both programs.
Yeah, definitely hats off to both of the coaches. Both are really good coaches. And just watching them in even some games, Lake Norman is just a really good team because even without their coach, they were still at a high level. Like, they ran their sets. They played the defense in the way they knew how. Shout out to Coach, because that shows that she instilling that culture. And then, of course, leadership. Kirsten Lewis, she doesn't want to lose. She doesn't care that it's summer league. I'm not losing. So, shout out to Lake Norman. Shout out to Myers Park. Myers Park had a really good week compared to, where they started at. They lost to West Rowan, came back, beat them. Lost to Lake Norman, didn't get a chance to revenge, but they got the ultimate goal, and they won a championship with good team work. Because I don't know if you were watching this. It wasn't just one of them scoring. You got to worry about all five players on the court, really.
Everybody on that floor.
Reese
Wilson. Awesome.
Yep. Reese Wilson was a big problem, awesome, especially in that championship game. She was lights out. Yep.
16 years.
So shout out to all of those teams that were in it. That was our top five. So we're going to give some games of the week that we had. I'm going to start with one of the best games I saw was West Rowan versus North Meck, 8:45 in the morning game. Early, came down to Lauren Arnold, kind of a hook shot floater in the lane with a little bit of time left. North Meck had a chance to actually come back and make a shot, but didn't make it. Game one, 31-29, if I'm not mistaken. Really good game, good atmosphere for that time in the morning, because usually the morning games are dead, but the North Meck crowd, they not really going to have anything dead if they playing. So
they're gonna show up. They're gonna show up for sure.
They definitely gonna show up. What about you guys?
I'll let y'all take this one. Y'all was there every single day, all day, and unfortunately, I couldn't be there. So I'm gonna let y'all know. I'm gonna let y'all take it on.
Yeah,
I'm gonna say the Wednesday game, the Lake Norman and Salisbury game.
Big time
It was
atmosphere.
it was big time atmosphere. Everybody, the girls from other schools, everybody was invested in this game. It was one of the most playoff fields games that we had. We had a few playoff field
Mm-hmm.
games, but that was a playoff field game that was really exciting to watch. I mean, again, Addie Soriani is one of the best defenders I've seen in this June. She's taken some good matchups. So I like that matchup that they had. Michaela Noble and Kirsten with the size matchup there, their bodies, big guards. I mean, it was just exciting to watch that game. And then that Monday, I want to say we had a great game as well, man. Because it was quite a few, man. I'm just looking at my list real quick, Coach. The Wesker Bears Hickory Ridge game was very competitive on Monday.
Yeah. If I'm not
Hickory
mistaken,
Ridge,
they played in the playoffs, the playoff bracket too, and that was a really good game too.
Yeah, they definitely just set the tone. If I don't know what the schedule looks like November and down the road, December,
That's
January.
conference. They in the
That's
same
conference play. That's a game you want to put a asterisk beside. It's going to be
Mm-hmm.
get your popcorn. I really like seeing them two teams compete against each other from right across the way. And it was the positive competitiveness. Definitely they respect each other and they played hard. So those are just a few of the games that I thought was really excellent. Another game that you had called, Coach, the Cox Mill and Audrey Care game was very competitive as well.
That was a really good game.
Yeah. So those are just a few, Coach.
Yeah, those are all good games. I want to say one more game, and it really wasn't. People probably wouldn't even care about it, but Hopewell versus West Charlotte. That was a game to where West Charlotte got up early. Hopewell fought back, and then it became a good game. It ended up being up by a 10-point win, and of course, running clock, and you got to get the 10 fouls to, get to 1-1. It's hard to stop a team from when they're up that much, but that was a good game overall. So now we get into players. Who are your top 3 impactful players? So this means this player impacted the game every time they were on the court. They shift momentum when they did things like that. We'll start. Coach Diggs, you want to start that one?
Yeah, I started. I mean, of course, I gotta go with my girl Ashley Shaw, man. I mean, when she's on the court, it's nonstop buckets for her, and she's so unselfish. She'll pass it, move without the ball, get it back in the right spots, and do what she got to do. And she really helped carry this team this week, her high school team this week. So shout out to her, and of course, Kirsten. Of course, Kirsten, because I mean her defense, and when we had the Unseen Fire interview, she pointed defense out to me, and I haven't seen her defense until this week. And she really plays hard defense. She'll get those steals. She'll dive after the ball. She'll go that extra mile on defense to get that steal, or put her team in a better position. And of course, her scoring is automatic. So she always gonna put her team in the right position. And like y'all said, she has weapons around her to help her with that. So I'm gonna go with them.
One thing about Ashley Shaw, when she hit, and that might be another game that if we ever went back and watched it versus Myers Park, when her and Mia were going back and forth, kind of knocking down threes, Ashley hit a step back 3 one time down, then hit a stare down 3 the next time. It just brought the crowd excitement up. It was a very special moment. Shout out to Ashley Shaw, because that's something I hadn't seen from her. Yeah, that's something I hadn't seen from her before. So I was definitely different. I'm gonna give. You want me to go ahead, Coach Gibbs?
Yeah, go ahead, man.
All right. So let me make sure I ain't tripping, because I'll be missing out. All right. So I actually did 4 for mine, but just because it's a lot of players. But my first one was Mia Zerus. Mia was excellent, and especially on day 4 bracket play, she was one of the better players on the court, constantly hitting shots, making shots when it counted, making plays. Her ball handling was amazing. I know I shouted her out a couple times for a couple different moves. Her hesitation is elite. When she uses that hesitation move to get to her floater, it's hard to stop. I had her teammate, Jaren Truesdale, especially for bracket play day, I really don't feel like it was a player, maybe Ashley Shaw, but I don't know if there was many players that were better than her that day. And that was a real coming out party for her. I feel like she'll get some looks come July with that Team United team. Kyla Bryant. Kyla Bryant was good the whole week. I know her coach was mad at her for lifting weights before bracket play, but, you know, those are kids. Kyla Bryant's one of the best guards in our area. I don't care what nobody says. She does so much for that Salisbury team, and you have to understand that she gets them going wherever you would want to look at it. She gets them going. And then last, Tiara Thompson, incoming freshman for West Rowan. If you don't know who she is, please go watch her at West Rowan this coming year, because she's a bucket and she's a great point guard. So those are my impactful players. Yep, very composed. All right, Coach Gibson, who you got?
Yeah, mine are really impactful. All on the defensive side. If you know me, you know. Haley Dalton for Salisbury, 2023 kid, was just phenomenal, getting up and down the floor, disruptive defensively. She talked, she defended away from the basket, which I think she's improved in, just knowing her for a long period of time. She, you know, great post passer. She was the anchor for her team for the most part of the tournament, and very impactful. I just don't think they get it done without her in that middle and just holding it down. She allowed them to switch, guard multiple plays, go to multiple positions. It was in the Lake Norman game, she had to guard a few possessions. She had to guard Addie, then turn around and guard the Kelsey Ryan kid off a switch. I mean, so, you know, she did a great job. Another kid off that Myers Park team, Shayla Mcdaniels. Defensively, she had all kind of tough matchups every game they had. I would consider her probably their defender. If you're looking at them, you would say, yeah, who's going to guard the big matchup. She was super impactful in the games on tournament day on the defensive side of the ball. And third, I got Addie Soriani. She was just super impactful defensively as well. She guarded Mia Zellers really well in the Myers Park game. She guarded Kyla Bryant really well in the Salisbury game. And those were really impactful to get those wins in both of those games. And I want to add Reese Wilson too. Her championship game, she had an and one earlier in that game near us. Coach, she just popped back on her feet, kept playing knockdown the shot. She was just big for them all the way around on that day. So those are my most impactful players. And there were a lot of them, Coach. There were a lot of them, but those are my most impactful that I saw for the whole week.
Reese plays hard. She plays super hard, regardless of the position that her team is in, for sure.
I agree with that. Reese is one of those players where she does everything that you ask her to do, and she plays really hard all the time. And she works hard outside of basketball, like where she's actually at practice. But she works hard regardless. Right. Another player that didn't get mentioned, I want to mention two of them really. Anastasia Sinclair and then Betsy Burnett. Both of them were really good for South Meck this week. So shout out to them. What we have? Go ahead.
I'm just going to piggyback off of that. Man, when Anastasia get going, I'm telling you, ain't no stopping her. She's like Sonic out here, how fast she is getting down that court, pushing the ball. I mean, she's really has grown into herself over the last couple of years. And it's going to be a tough road for her at South Meck this year, but she did really well this week.
I agree. So we got players that were underrated coming in, but now you should kind of know their names. And Coach Diggs, who'd you have?
I had I pick up Anastasia too, Anastasia, because a lot of people, don't know her as far as outside of South Meck behind Sonali Moss last year. I mean, they knew it was another player helping her, but they didn't really know her name. So she's really gonna have that chip on her back. And also, I'm gonna go with Molly from AK. I mean, Molly, she'll shoot that thing. I mean, I'm telling you, no matter where she at. And she makes great passes. She makes good decisions as a point guard. And she has a big role this year, being a junior, coming up this year for high school.
That's a fact. Molly was really good. Autumn Washington was also good on that team. The freshman coming in, she was really good. They'll be big time players for AK this year. Coach Gibson, who'd you have for your underrated players?
I had the Menard twins from Wesker Bears, Alasia and Rayana. They're going to be really good in the future. It was good to see them play against high-level kids and see them compete. I like their composure. I like kids who have that Tim Duncan kind of swag. They just not too overly emotional, and they just play. They just play. So that's what I really liked about them. A kid that you talked about before, I really sat down and watched her the last couple of days, and that's Erica Mclaren. Shout out to her. She got the offer. She played well enough to get that offer in the building Thursday. That's what it's about. Johnson. She got the Johnson and Wells offer, but she earned it. Really, really. She played consistently. She the coach had that team in shape. She was guarding 94 feet the entire tournament, every game. If she was on the other side of you, you saw her as soon as the ball went through the basket. I really liked them in the tournament day because Ashley Shaw, like you said, they played in the tournament and she came down and hit some big shots and they just came back and made a play. Go ahead.
Coach, not to cut you off, because while you said Ashley Shaw, this is her first high school. These are her first high school games back. So she really was showing out because, she was out last year due to her injury. So she had to show a comeback. And you just saying that made me realize and wanted to mention that as well. She went off.
Yeah. She did, man. She handled her business, I think, all weekend, man. We had some jokes back and forth because I like to get her going. I like to see what she brings to the table. And that matchup with her and the kid Erica was very good to see because they both had that stare down in their face, real composed, and they competed at a high level, man. So that's another kid that I think everybody, if she's not on your scout report, if she's not on your recruitment list, she needs to be. That kid is pretty good. And then the last one I got is a rookie, is a freshman from a team that a lot of people didn't get to see. But West Charlotte had a kid named Kendra Raymond. Every time she was there, shout out to the kid. She's working as a camp counselor, so she played in the evening. And every time we saw her, she produced, she performed, she hit a couple threes. She was in the passing lanes defensively, and West Charlotte looked all around better with her on the floor. So she's another kid in a name that I think people need to look out for and listen to. About you, Coach?
My group of underrated, but they definitely should be names to know. I'm gonna start with Gabby Pfeiffer, lights out shooter for South Meck. She was, I don't know what her percentage was, but it was very high. She was very efficient. When she was shooting, it's like you automatically think, oh, it's going in. South Meck shoots the ball really well. That'll keep them in the game.
One of their shooters wasn't even there this week.
Yep, they were missing 2 starters. So, of course, that's going to be a big help for them. They'll be a really good team. One of those teams that may sneak a couple teams when it comes down to conference and playoffs. My next player was Lauren Arnold from West Rowan. She probably could have been on the impactful players, honestly, because she just did so much. other than even in the championship game, she still got buckets, got rebounds. She's one of those players where she does a lot. She's a 2024 that with the right team, I think she could get an offer. That's really where I see her and her potential. She's a really solid player. That whole West Rowan team was really good. I would put all of them on here, but of course we can't. Javier Barr. I might have said that name wrong, but I'm gonna just say Big Jaja.
Jaja, yeah.
Big Jaja was tough. First year playing basketball, 6'3", can't beat the size, but you also, just because you're 6'3" doesn't mean you understand concepts. Jaja was understanding, okay, I get this rebound, I'm looking for my guard. If I get this rebound on the offensive end, I'm trying to score. Soft hands, soft touch. He was really good. Just
I
for
think
my
she's
first
6'4",
time seeing
coach.
it. Huh?
I thought that was 6'4".
She might be 6'4", for real, for real. I
I'll
was
tell you
saying
Look,
6'3".
I will
6'3",
say this.
6'3".
Yeah.
I will say this. Jaja picked up a ball in May, so kiddos out there, keep working.
Oh,
If
yeah.
you're not mentioned, whatever the case may be, if you watch that and you know who we're talking about, this is a kid that just keep putting in work. So all you kiddos, just keep working.
Yeah.
Because coach is right. She understood her role, coach. We keep going. Jaja, yeah.
Hey, when you understand and that's another thing, players understand what your role is. Not everybody is the main scorer, and everybody's not the, handling the ball all the time. It's okay. You can get recruited for playing your role. And I know we bring up Addie Sirianni a lot, but she understands her role. She does her role every time. And you can talk to Coach Graham, and she'll always tell you, man, Addie just does what we need her to do. And she's one of my favorite players because of that. I love a player that knows their role and they excel at it. So my last player for my underrated list was Brooklyn Saunders from Butler. Brooklyn Saunders was a great point guard for her team, regardless of which teammates were there. She always plays, and I saw that during the school year, but even more now, I feel like she's just growing her game more and more. She knocking down mid-rangers, threes, get to the basket, causing havoc on defense. All those types of things are big, and they'll get her to where she wants to be. I think she should be definitely a name that people know. They have the shooter Jessica on their team too. Small girl, but she get that ball and she shoots it from deep. She gets a lot of good threes up. Last topic before we go. What team do you think has a chance to win a state championship just out of the teams that were there?
Oh man, coach. We'll start with the only 2A team that competed with 3A, 4As, no matter what. Salisbury has a really good opportunity to compete. Seeing them without Jamaica Huntley, they still are loaded, still are talented, play together. Shout out to a kid named Mary Morgan. I think she's glue girls matter. I keep saying that. Kids that understand their role. She was impactful for them. So I think they have all the kind of pieces to make another run. They're going to have that target on their back, and it's theirs to really lose. You know what I mean? They're pretty good. We had three 3A teams there, if I'm not mistaken, coach, or two.
Yep,
In West Rowan, West
Rowan,
Charlotte, West Rowan, and East
and
Lincoln.
East Lincoln, yep.
East Lincoln has some bright spots. I think they got some stuff to work on with some young guards, but we can still see the talent there in their game. They competed well against Myers Park in the games that they competed.
They
But I
got
think
a lot of
West Rowan,
left on that team too. A lot of left.
yeah, yes, they do. So it depends on their young guards and how they come along. But I really like what we saw from West Rowan. I think they're everybody's here surprise team from the whole event. And I think they really just said, hey, if you don't know, you better, they're going to be pretty darn good. So I think them and East Lincoln, if West Charlotte get them together, they're still going to be able to make a run at it. They got some pieces. They just got to get them together. They're a great team as far as the individual talent that they have. All in all, coach, now to the meat of it, the 4A teams that were in there, Lake Norman showed themselves. They definitely flex their muscles. They're going to be a team to beat. Myers Park, they flex their muscle, coach. I think, again, the thing about them is their ability to continue to get better. So I think they're going to be scary way in March. They're going to be really scared. North Meck, I mean, they're going to be scary too. They just, their defense was there. They were there. They just got to get some execution. They got some new pieces. Everybody's trying to find their role. So I think we saw a week of a lot of contenders. I think the Great 4A conference up there in Concord, I think that competitiveness every night is going to will a team to be one of the competitive teams in the state. Anybody that can lock Lake Norman off, that's going to be a challenge. But I think that, that's going to be, those are pretty much the contenders that I saw, Coach. I think everybody has a shot. You know what I mean? I saw a few dark horses. But I think for the 4As, the top two I seen, definitely Myers Park, North Meck. We've seen flashes of what South Meck will be able to do if they get their starters back. So I'm not counting out anybody that was in that tournament because it was definitely the elite programs of the elite programs.
All right, I agree.
Coach, who you said your dark horse was at our last meeting? Coach G. Coach Gibson.
Was it?
I think it was East Lincoln.
East Lincoln for the tournament was dark because I seen them play. You know what I mean, and they looked really good. You know what I mean. The first day they played Myers Park first game 8:45. It was a good game. They just got some young guards. They got a kid Emma Monastery or something like that, Monetary, but she can play, and so they're going to be really tough to beat at the 3A level. Last year they put West Rowan out of the playoffs, so that is going to be a rivalry in itself. So I think one of those two teams are going to come out on top in that 3A division. But around here we got more 4A schools. I think how it always happens. We got to play each other in the first rounds of the playoffs. So you got to get out of here first, and that's going to be the tough part. And that's when it's going to boil down to, So out of the teams that we seen, I like North Meck. I like Myers Park. If I'm going for my tops, you know what I mean. Lake Norman, obviously, what they've done in all the events we've been able to see them in this June. So that's where I'm at with it. You guys go ahead and give your input.
All right. Dean, which team you think is like a state championship contender?
I mean, I think Myers Park has a good they can make a good run at it. But of course I'm going with Lake Norman. I mean, they was already there. They know what it takes. They didn't lose anything, I don't think. And I mean, just one year. So they're gonna be right back there next year. And as Kirsten said on Unseen Fire, she's gonna get this title. But I think it was good competition, but especially with Myers Park being new into the conference with AK and South Met, I think they was able to see with each other, what to expect from one another. And also, like we said, South Met was missing some starters. So that's going to be a big difference as well. And to see, with the new coach and Coach Justin and see how, they mesh together and see how far they can go. I mean, like Coach Gibson said, I think they're going to surprise some people as well. So, but I'm going to stick with Layton, though. And North as well. North going to go. I think if they get healthy, North is going to be a tough contender, too.
Yeah, I agree with that. North is
one of the
when they get those.
There.
Yeah, once they get them two dogs out of their injuries, I mean, the sky's the limit after that. Lake Norman for sure. I think Lake Norman has the best core of any group in our area. I think they just work really well together, and they're young. I think that youth mixed with that experience. A lot of people forget that they're still missing one of their better players. She's sitting on the bench coaching pretty much right now. But once she's back, that makes them an even better team. North Meck already said I think West Cabarrus could actually surprise some teams. Just because of the style of play that they have, it could make them, any given day, especially when it's tournament time, if you get on a run and you start getting them teams to turn the ball over, you making shots.
Ashley Shaw going off.
Right. Yeah, because, realistically, if it comes down to the end of the game and I got Ashley Shaw on my team, she's a shot maker. So Myers Park, definitely, I think they are a really solid team. They'll go as far as me as Zerus takes them. Salisbury, I really have them as a favorite right now. I think them and Randleman in the 2A division will be pretty much it. 2A is probably not going to be as strong as it was last year, especially with Morasia Pass leaving Shelby. Then East Rowan, East Lincoln, I think both of those teams have a chance because East Lincoln has that size. Once those guards get into the mix, it'll be good. But that's all we got for today. I appreciate everybody. Thank you again to Coach Baker for having us. We'll probably be out for a little while. We may do an unseen fire or something. It might be a Team Curry player just because we're going to be on this road.
Hey, we can do it on the road, though, Coach. We can do it on the road.
We can do it on the road, but that's all we got for today. I appreciate everybody. BallHer Hoops, we out.
Dude.